Hello everybody. For today's video, I wanted to do something a little unique and different. As all of you who watch my channel know, I am a huge movie buff, of course. And as you can see, this is just a little bit of a view of my movie shelf. It's not the entire shelf, but it's basically just a portion of it. Because as you can see, this is what you'd call physical media. Physical media, of course, is content, or whether it's movies or video games or shows, that are on discs or VHS tapes back in the day and Laserdisc and all that. Well, nowadays, unfortunately, there's been a change in how people view movies. It's gone from physical media to streaming with services like Max, Netflix, Hulu, as well as, platforms where you can purchase digital films like Vudu and other sites like that. So I wanted to make a video on why I believe physical media still matters today and why I will always stick with physical media even with the rising of streaming services in the last couple of years or so. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to cover is, ironically, the cover art of titles. As you can see all these titles with the spines hanging out from the shelves, and it allows me to see what title I'm looking at. And let's just pull a random title from the shelf. Let's pull this one over here, Game Night, with Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams. As you can see, it's got a slipcover, which I know newer titles have these slipcovers, and I know they're not really, essential to own, but I know people like me like having them because it kind of adds a little bit of pizzazz or swag to the release itself. And then underneath that, you have the case itself. And it's nice to be able to see the cover art in person on a case rather than just a poster on a streaming service. And then opening it up here, the disc art, which most titles may have something unique to the cover of a disc, but I know there's other titles that may go with something plain and ordinary. But I think it's just still nice to be able to, see cover art from a movie on these cases as opposed to, like I said, just seeing a poster of the movie on a streaming service. You don't really get all that extra, the extra information that you should see on titles like this. Let me pull out another title just for fun. Let's pull out my 4K of Deadpool. Meant to cover this, but as you can see, there's information about the movie and information about the extra features and the specifications. So yeah, that's just one thing I like about physical media. So that's the first thing, the cover art and the information that you get. The second thing I want to cover is the fact that whichever version you own of a movie, whether it's Blu-ray, DVD, VHS, or 4K, you pretty much get the highest quality possible that you can get depending on the format that you own a movie in. For example, as you can see, most of my collection comprises of Blu-rays and 4Ks. I am someone who likes to own a movie in the highest quality possible. If the highest quality physical media release that a film has is on Blu-ray, I'll have the Blu-ray. If it's 4K, I'll get the 4K. If I own it on Blu-ray but it gets a 4K upgrade in the future, I will upgrade that title to 4K, even if it eventually goes out of print or if it's part of a collection. Like, for example, I know there's the Columbia Classics collections where the only way to get the titles on 4K is to buy them through that collection. But as you saw in a recent update video I made where I featured Kramer vs. Kramer on 4K, which is only a part of a Columbia Classics collection box set, I had to scour eBay to find a copy of that because it's just how I am, I want to be able to watch a movie in the highest quality possible, whether it's Blu-ray, 4K, or even DVD. If a film only has a DVD release, like, for example, I'll pull this one title off the shelf. 8-Bit Christmas. I really like this movie, but it only has a DVD release. Now, I know you can watch it on 4K or HD on Max, because that's where the movie originally was released on. But, I don't know. For me, even if it has a DVD release only, then I'll just watch the DVD of it. It doesn't really matter, because I'll cover another aspect of that in a minute. But the point I'm trying to get across with the quality is that when you're watching a movie on disc, no matter which format it's in, you're getting the highest quality possible that the disc can provide. When you're watching movies on streaming services, whether it's you download them digitally or you're watching them through streaming, the quality varies depending on the internet connection, really, of where you are, as well as maybe the quality that you download the movie in if you're watching it offline. And even when you're watching a movie in 4K on streaming, I've read that it's not as clear of quality as it is when you're watching it on disc. Like I read some specifications about when you're watching a movie on 4K through streaming, the megabits per second is pretty low as opposed to watching it on a disc. If you're watching it on a 4K disc, the megabits per second is much, much higher if you're watching it through there rather than through streaming. So, as I said, because I want to watch it in the highest quality that the movie can be provided in, I want to be able to watch it that way. So of course, I just go through the disc for watching it that way. So I apologize for wording it badly that way, but I hope you get the point that I'm trying to get across. If I watch a movie, watching it at the highest quality possible, I'm watching it on disc. With streaming, it always depends on your internet connection, but even if you want to watch it with good internet connection, it doesn't provide you with the best quality it can, unlike discs, whether it's 4K or DVD or Blu-ray. So that's another thing. Next thing I want to cover are the extra features. Of course, you're always going to get extra features with movies. Now, I've noticed a lot lately that it seems like there's a lot of titles that will not have any extra features at all, which is kind of disappointing. I know there's some titles in here, especially catalog titles that are older movies that are getting Blu-ray or 4K releases for the very first time. They'll have no extras whatsoever. But there are a lot of titles in this collection, as you can see, that will have special features. I've looked into it. It doesn't look like you either get no extra features with movies via streaming or digital, or you may get extra features, but it's not as much as what you'd get on disc. So that's just a shorter thing I wanted to talk about with physical media is the extra features, which, like I said, you either get a certain amount, or maybe you'll get none at all. But if you get a certain amount of features, it might be more features than what you're getting provided on streaming or digital. So that's another thing. One thing I want to talk about now are edited versions of movies on streaming. And I'll pull this title out, for example. 1971's The French Connection. This is a 2012 Blu-ray release. And recently I heard that this movie has gone through edits through its digital version of the movie, particularly on the Criterion channel and I think on Apple TV. Within the last year or so, people have noticed that there's a edit in the movie, or an edit in digital versions of the film that removes a racial slur. But with the physical copy of the movie that I just showed, that scene is intact. So because streaming services can edit movies like that to either, edit scenes, to fit today's standards, or any other situation why they would edit a movie, they're going to have to watch it that way if you watch it through streaming. If you own the movie on physical media even before the edits came into place, you're able to watch it in its entirety unedited. There's nothing stopping you from that. You can watch it the way that it was intended to be shown. But if you watch a movie through streaming, you're at risk of that title being edited in some way by the streaming service or the company because of today's standards changing and all that. So that's another thing that I wanted to cover. So case in point, if you own a movie in your collection, depending on when the title was released, it's very likely that it will be unedited and unaltered in some way. Typically I know with Screen Factory, they've offered disc replacement programs. If there's been an error with a certain title, they'll fix the disc for you, and then they'll be able to send you a replacement as long as you show proof of purchase. So that's pretty much all I got to say about that topic. So with these titles, there's no way that they can be edited or altered. You have the way they're intended to be shown right here in your collection, ready for you to watch whenever you want. But with streaming, you're at risk of having it edited in some way. And then another thing I want to talk about is that you own the movie. If you have movies in your collection like here, you pretty much own the movie. Nobody can take it away from you. Nobody can alter it for you. They are in your collection in its full form, as I talked about earlier, and you own them. You can watch it whenever you want. Nobody can stop you. With streaming services, titles change here and there. You know, you can go to a streaming service, they'll have a certain movie, but then you go the next day and the movie's gone. But with physical media, it's on your shelf, ready for you to watch whenever you want. So that's another thing, is that you own the title. I know I sound like I'm repeating myself a lot here. I'm just trying to make this video, you know, as simple as possible with explaining why I think physical media matters today. So I think that's pretty much, hopefully, all I had to cover. So I talked about, you know, edited versions of movies on streaming. I talked about the cover art. I talked about how you can watch movies in the highest quality possible on disc. I talked about the special features and how about it and how you own the title. That's pretty much all the basic standards. But I also wanted to throw a kind of bonus here. So I'm going to show this. This is a DVD of the film Dogma. I'm sure a lot of you know that this movie has pretty much not been shown on any streaming service at all. And I know that I think Kevin Smith will sometimes release the movie for free online for a certain period of time. But there's pretty much no other way to watch the movie. There's no streaming service that has the movie available. You got to seek out DVD or even Blu-ray copies of the movie in order to own it. Now, this is not my copy. This is actually my dad's. He was actually thinking about getting rid of this, but I decided to take it from him because of the fact that this is such a rare title. I mean, I think with the DVD copy of the movie, you can kind of find it easily on eBay and other places. But I've heard the Blu-ray is pretty expensive. Now, I have not seen the movie, but when I get to watching it, whenever that will be, I'll watch the DVD version. And depending on availability of the Blu-ray, if I decide to get the Blu-ray, I'll get the Blu-ray. But the point I'm trying to make here is that, as I said earlier, when you own a movie like this, you own the movie. Nobody can take it away from you. So because of the fact that streaming services aren't offering this movie, if you have the movie on DVD, nobody can take it away from you, or even Blu-ray. You're able to watch it whenever you want. Nobody can take this away. So I think that's pretty much all I wanted to cover for this video. I hope that you all, you know, got something out of this. I know that there's a lot of people that, you know, have made videos on this, so I'm sure they probably covered it better than I did. But hopefully you all enjoyed this video, despite me maybe not doing the best at it. But I hope you all know that, as you can see, as I explained earlier, I am a physical media person. I will always stand by physical media. I've used the hashtag physical media matters often when it comes to things like this, so I am glad to be a physical media nerd. I just want to pan the camera down real quick. Even though it has caused some sort of consequences, as you can see, I have pretty much no room at all left in the media room that I house these movies in. So these are basically titles that I've had to resort to putting on the floor. But hopefully one day I'll be able to, whether my family moves or if I have my own place, that I will have enough room to be able to fit all the titles on the shelves rather than having to resort to putting them on the floor. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed this video. If you have not subscribed yet, please consider doing so. Stay tuned for more collection videos, update videos, and all that like this. And hopefully, again, that you all got something out of this video. I thought it would be a fun video to make. I apologize if my wording in some spots was terrible, but I'm doing the best I can with this video. So there you have it. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.